I'm Chris Williams from Cyclone Fanatic and a proud Iowa State graduate from the class of 2007. No one shows up like Iowa State fans. And Cyclones support Cyclones on and off the field. Your gift can provide scholarships to students, fund groundbreaking research. We can even drum up opportunities for the marching band. Visit MoveWhatMatters.com to learn how you can make an impact today.
He's the prime cut passer from behind the meat counter. It's Fairway Frank. And introducing a 6'3" center who's a cut above the rest. Say hello to Audie Crooks.
Everyone, welcome back to the Cyclone Fanatic pregame show. We got a lot of Cyclone hoops today. I'm your host, Leah Nelson. Chelsea Poppens is back joining me in the studio to talk about Iowa State taking on number 19 Baylor today at 1:30. It's going to be a great game, and we're excited to talk about it. But before we do, as always, let's thank our sponsors. Starting off with Channel Seed, our title sponsor. Once again, they're great people, and they are great Iowa State fans. So we are so happy to have them on board and our friends over at Fairway. Good old Fairway Meat and Grocery. Check them out. Get all of your great products there. We love Fairway, so we will continue to talk about them and Channel Seed. I'm laughing because I can see Chelsea laughing in the screen below as I talk about Fairway Meat and Grocery. But anyway, Chelsea, great to have you back in the studio. Chatting about Iowa State women's basketball. It's going to be a great game today as they take on number 19 Baylor. Obviously, they are on, a 4-game winning streak, so we're excited. Perfect time to take on this team. But what can we expect from Baylor today, this Saturday?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tough game. They're 13-12 in the Big 12. And they're just a tremendous team. They're a well-balanced team. They're an old team. They have 5 fifth-year seniors, or 5 fifth years and 2 seniors. So they're just a very, they got a lot of good guards that are in double digits, 5 to 6 players in double digits. They have Von Lay, who's going to be a good matchup with Audie. Fauntleroy is also going to be a good one for Brown. So they just are a very well-rounded team and can post up, get some points in the paint. Obviously, I don't think Von Lay is I think Audie is still gonna be very dominant. Von Lay isn't putting up the same numbers as Crooks, but I think it's still gonna be a good matchup at the end of the day.
Can you give any injury report? I know AJ was out with a foot injury last game against Houston. We had some other injury scares, and then I know Baylor has one person that's out. So if you could just update everyone on as much as you know.
Yeah. So we don't know about Jackson. Coach said that they're going to check out practice and see how it goes and then let other people know. So we'll see about that. He was hopeful. But Emily tweaked her game again the last game. So I guess we'll see if she's able to play. I mean, I think she'll still play or try to play, but it just kind of sucks that she re-injured her ankle. And then I think Addie also had a little bit of a scare, but she played well this last game. So, I mean, it's that time of year where everybody has injuries. It's winding down. Everybody's been beating their bodies, and it's just about that March Madness time. So all across the board, whether it's Baylor, whether it's any other team in the Big 12, everybody's facing injuries right now. There's some teams with only one player on the bench and not enough horses in the stable. And so Baylor, one of their key players, Little Paige Buggs, she got injured, I think, versus Texas Tech. She was a key player for them. I think she'll be out, but we'll see. I think it's probably a similar situation where it's game by game and seeing where people are at. But also, they'll have some tremendous guards, Andrews and Walker, stepping up as key players in those double digits, key playmakers. They lead in assists, 5.1 average, 5.5 average for Walker. And I don't know. I think everybody's kind of facing some injuries or some here and there little things.
It's injuries and it's cold and flu season, so everyone's getting sick. It's a tough time for basketball across the board, like you said. Iowa State has yet to have a huge marquee win, and today could potentially be their first. What does Iowa State need to do to come out on top today?
I think what they've been progressively doing, that very well balanced attack. I love seeing Kelsey Jones in the double digits. I love seeing her earn every minute that she gets and shooting the threes like you saw in this last game. So just seeing her in the double digits, like we talked about so many times, is that we need other players stepping up and making key shots at the end of the game and taking the pressure off of Crooks down low. Because, like, as you know, Crooks is also facing like a little bit of an injury, or not really injury, but just nagging things. Like you see her leg wrapped because she has her patella that sometimes comes out of place, so they have to wrap it pretty good. But like, it just needs to be. They're still a young team. They're still learning how to play with each other. But I think the more and more Sydney Jones and Emily and other key players step up, the better we're going to be against Baylor, because Baylor is very veteran and everybody knows how to make a play on offense and defense.
As the season winds down, I'm looking ahead at the schedule. Iowa State takes on Baylor, then UCF, and then Kansas State to wrap up conference. How important is this game today? Like, do they need to is there added pressure on, like, they have to win this game, or is it kind of just like, even keel through this game?
I mean, I think every game matters at this point. I think any game is going to make or break whether, like, where we're standing and rankings and stuff. So I honestly, during this time of year, you can't let up any pressure. Like, it's always
Literally.
pressure. You can't let up. You can't come with less than 100 of what you're able to do. So, I mean, especially now, like with the expectation, like we've been waiting for so long for Iowa State to figure out what that chemistry and what that offense and that defense looks like. And with Jackson out, the defense is going to take a little bit of, if she's out, they're going to take a little bit of dip because she's a key defensive player. She's that lockdown defender on the defensive side. And so other players have to step up defensively. And our expectation as fans, as former players, as people following the Cyclones, is that they should be getting better at the end of the year. I know, but I mean, there's that flip side of everybody's injured and their bodies are exhausted mentally, physically, and it's a long season. Like, there's a lot of games in a short amount of time. And like, I remember as a player getting to March, I was like, dear Lord, I was like, I'm tired. My body hurts mentally. Like, I know I got to push through.
Right. We'll talk a little bit about the mental aspect. I know we always talk about injuries and flu, but like you said, it is a long season. You are playing so many games in basketball. But talk about what that mental toll can take on you while you're getting down to the end of the season. Because one, there's pressure on if you're on the bubble, if you're going to make post game or post tournament, post whatever season. Thank you. Post. Gosh, words are hard. Post.
It all.
So like, there's pressure on if you're going to do that. There's pressure on people, injuries, nagging you. There's just pressure. Talk about that mental toll that it takes on you during basketball season.
I mean, you're receiving it from all sides, and you're trying to balance your life. And so you have school and all the classes that you're doing. You have the pressure of people like talking about bracketology and where you're going to stand. And then just also like the coaches are talking about taking it day by day and game by game. So it's like, sit in the present, understand the future, but also like show up. And I don't know, it's a constant battle. We're also in winter. Like, that's another variable that we don't. I'm at home. I'm not a player anymore. I'm retired and I got the winter blues. Right. And so we're, even as players, dealing with the cold, dealing with showing your body's not functioning as well as you want them to right now at the end of the season. And then just trying to stay mentally there until the last game. Like Emily Ryan, I think she has a tremendous amount of pressure because when the ball stops, it's done for her and she has to think about that next chapter. And so I'm like, I'm sure her body is hurting, but she understands that like the clock is ticking for her final game and her final play, and she wants to make her mark. So, I mean, I think all the rest of the players also understand that and they want to make it like the best season as possible for them, but also for Emily at the end of the day.
That was wonderful. I'm so glad you talk about that because I think as fans, you know, you just want them to win, and you sometimes forget about the mental aspect and the toll that they're taking on. And they're not just athletes, they're also students, and they're dealing with their everyday life. So I think it's important to highlight that. So I really appreciate it. But I'm excited for this game. I think it's gonna, you know, Iowa State is treading in the right direction, so it's exciting. Game at 1:30. Also, make sure you check in to the men's game. Go back and forth. They're playing around the same time. But thanks, Chelsea, for hopping back in the studio. Thanks to our sponsors, our title sponsor, Channel Seed and Fairway. Shout out to Aiden for producing, and go Cyclones.
Woo! Go Cyclones! Go Aiden!